You guys have Facebook comment on?
I can have it open.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we are officially kicking off yep.
Okay.
Woo! Hi. Wednesday night. This is our Rising She Spotlight series, and you guys, we are super stoked to be bringing this to you guys every single Wednesday. This is your space for weekly Wednesday night woo-woo wisdom from guest speakers all over the world, and we are thrilled and over the moon to be bringing in Heather tonight to get in her mind, to talk about all the things that light her up. And so I'm just going to read her beautiful bio here so you guys know exactly who she is. Heather's here with us. She is a mindset and women empowerment coach. Hell yeah. And also a graduate of Divine She School. Double hell yeah. Welcome, Heather. We are super, super excited to have you tonight.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here, guys. This is like just empowering. So empowering. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Awesome. So we're going to start it off. And so this is a question that we're going to be asking basically every person that comes in for the Wednesday night, because we think it's a very super important one. So Heather, first question of the night. What do you love about being a woman, my friend?
Okay. Can we just talk about the fact that like we as women get to play with both sides, right? Like I love that. I love that on one day I can wake up and curl my hair and put on this beautiful dainty dress and some lipstick and just like be taken care of. And then the next day I can just be completely powerful, be a boss babe, be running my house, be running my business. And you have this duality. Of this beautiful, soft, feminine nature. And you can also pull from this very strong aspect of these beautiful women who have come before you. Mm-hmm. And you can draw on them whenever you want. I think that's come into play a little bit more in our history, where women before, didn't really have that power. But we are in a beautiful space right now of being a woman and being able to shift and pull and play on the strong aspects of who we are, and also be able to fall back into those softer roles when we want to. We're not forced to anymore. It's a choice now of wanting to be feminine or wanting to be. Some women do it beautifully together at one time. You can see a badass babe in combat boots and a skirt, and yet she's the most soft-spoken badass out there. So I love that we're really pulling from both right now, and we have that freedom.
I love your description of that. That's absolutely perfect. That is so good. And it is, I think maybe this really comes from the fact that women are used to wearing so many different hats. We're used to kind of not molding ourselves, being a chameleon, kind of fitting in where we need to and standing out when we need to. So I think that's beautiful. It's so good. So I want to know, so how do you explain...
So all four are on here. On our Facebook Live, it's just one person's...
Oh, is it?
Sorry, Sara.
No, you're good. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Okay, so how would you explain to someone who doesn't know anything about the law of attraction, that's foreign to them? They're like, law of what are you talking about? Law of attraction and manifesting. What light can you shed on that?
So one really leads to the other. So the law of attraction in simplest terms is what we think about, we bring about. And I think that's really the easiest concept to start with. It doesn't have to be crazy, guys. It doesn't have to be this in-depth explanation. Really, if you can just get down that what you think about, you bring about, that's really it. And manifesting is just drawing on that. So manifesting is saying, okay, I know that what I think about, I bring about. And now I'm really going to get focused and get intentional with my thoughts. And I'm going to manifest the things that I want, because a lot of we're just doing it backwards. We're thinking about the stresses. We're thinking about the bills. We're thinking about the chaos. And then how often do we say, oh, I knew that would happen. I knew it would get crazy. I knew work was going to suck today. I knew that chick was going to just like pop off at me. I knew. Because we went into it with that mentality. Every little thought we have is this energy ping out into the universe. And when we say, oh, it's such a crappy morning, I bet I'm going to have a crappy day at work. You know what? I bet you are too. I bet you are too.
Pretty much. We get what we focus on, and we think about what we want, but we don't do it as often as we think about what we don't want.
Yes.
It's
and
like
that's where
conscious creating, I think, is what people need to start moving into.
Yes, absolutely. We just have to understand it's that simple as starting to think about the things that we do want, not the things that we lack. And for some reason, it's like this folly of adulthood to like think about your bills and think about your stress and think about all your mortgage and like, no, we got to erase that. We got to do it different. We got to do it differently.
Yes, agreed.
So I'm going to ask you a different question, but how do you apply law of attraction to your everyday? Like when you wake up, what are you doing? Hopefully this is a little off the cuff, but I know you can handle it. But like, how do you apply it every day that like us ladies listen, can start to apply this to our daily life?
So the first thing that I do when I wake up, I am in a meditation practice. Ladies, do not get scared about meditation practice. You are not a Buddha Zen master. Don't worry. You're not sitting on the cliffside for 2 hours in silence, trying to move a rock with your mind. It's okay. It is really anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes if you have it. Okay, ladies, in the morning, and just sit with yourself and set intention for the day. A lot of what law of attraction and manifestation is setting intentions. So I sit with myself, I sit with the intentions of the day. I ask for guidance of, show me something, universe, like I'm here. These are the things I want to do, and show me. And as I'm going about my day, I'm receiving. I open myself up to that. So like today I was checking out at the grocery store and my total was like, a few dollars and some cents. So I threw in, some change before I threw in my dollars to the self-checkout. And all of a sudden I see what's owed is 333. Well, what didn't you know? I made sure my angel code was up on that and looked right away. I hear you, universe. Show me something. Show me something. I'm here. So I'm always receiving. Law of attraction, I have a little daily fun thing that I like to do that if I'm headed to the grocery store, I always pick up a little like $3 scratcher. And basically I throw it in and go, thanks for my lunch money. Thanks for my free lunch. And once you know it, every time that thing hits on like $8 to $20 and I have free lunch. And it's not I wonder if I'll win. It's thanks for the lunch money. And that's realistically how I approach it. Already knowing that the universe has my back, already knowing that it's going to happen. And they're just little ways to kind of confirm.
Mm-hmm.
So I love doing that. I love sitting with intention. I love going back and, out of blue. Oh,
you're back.
Oh, I was frozen. I'm a big person who sees hawks on light posts all the time, or they used to show up to my 9 to 5 job. Mm-hmm. And I'm always looking back at those messages. If randomly there's a deer crossing our, subdivision in the middle of suburbia, I'm looking for what that means. Mm-hmm. So guys, you have to ask. You got to ask that universe, show me something, and be open to receiving it. Like you have to do your work too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ask and align, right? Ask and align consistently. So
yeah, good. For sure. So like you just said, you have to do your own work. So that leads me into, what hurdles did you have to face kind of on your journey, and how did you overcome them to get to where you are right now?
To be honest, I think, I overcome I overcome things daily. I am a human, and one of the biggest things, and you ladies know this personally from being, you know, in Divine She School, is that I struggle with getting out of my own damn way, giving myself a little bit of grace, and stepping into my power and knowing that it's okay to do that. And that's my sometimes daily struggle that I have to self-correct. Sometimes it's a weekly struggle where, you know, everything else is going perfectly. And I'm like, but something's missing. This just happened the other day, funny enough. I'm like, something's missing. And I was getting in my own way because it took me 14 hours to create something because I never used the program before. But I was like, why don't I just know this? So for me specifically, I had to learn to give myself more grace. I had to learn to kind of let the flow be flow. You can't force the flow. But I can get in the habit of trying to force myself to let the flow. Got to slow the flow.
Yeah.
I love this. Yes. So how did you get started as a mindset and women empowerment coach? So you've been moving mountains recently. You know, you just kind of like stepped into this space, said, F you 9 to 5, like I'm doing this now because this is my calling, this is my purpose, this is my light. And you just like stepped into it and you didn't hold back. And I mean, now you're here. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was something that I had always kind of dabbled in. So, I mean, most of us can say from an early age, we knew that there was a little bit something more. We always felt it, or we physically saw it. And so I always had that kind of internal nudge that there was something more. In 2005, I really got hit hard. I manifested a fatality car accident. And I thought, there's just so much, guys. There's so much to words. You know, all my girlfriends were getting in these little fender benders. And I literally walked around for about a month at my hospital saying, oh, thank goodness I've never been in a car accident. Knowing me, I'd get hit by a semi-truck. A month later, myself and another person hit by a semi-truck. And it was at that moment where I realized the power of my words. Pretty much as soon as I was released from hospital, I dove into law of attraction. I dove into that world and I started certification on that. I started really deep diving into that work. During that course of time, I got pregnant with my daughter and she was a high-risk pregnancy. And so I kind of put it on the back burner. She ended up being born about 2 months early. So essentially the first 2 years of her life were just keeping that little nugget alive. And so again, back burner, then raising 2 children, back burner, right? So going through Divine She School, I had kind of put it so far on the back burner that I even forgot how much I loved it until I, kind of put myself in this environment where other women were talking about these things again. And I was, engaged in daily conversations, daily work, daily readings, and going, gosh, I want to get back to that. And so I pulled out all my old coursework and, contacted mentors that I had and said, what would it take to get back into this? And really worked with them. I am a student by nature. I love it. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it 100%. And so I dove back in and, finished that coursework up and have just really been living in it. And part of that was, like you said, Sara, leaving that 9 to 5, which you guys know it was more of a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. job.
Yeah.
It was draining, and it didn't make me feel empowered. It didn't make me joyful at the end of the day. But I knew that when I was in this space with women and we were empowering each other and we were changing our mindset, that is when I shined internally. I felt my best. I glowed. I radiated. I had those conversations with friends that, you know, really changed where they were at. And I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to give up the job, the title, the hospital, the corporate world. I'm also going to give up the garbage and go for it.
Fuck the fear.
Yeah, it's crazy how as soon as you like completely drop what's not serving you, all of the goodness just flows in. You know, as soon as you finally say enough is enough and you let that part go and just move forward on trust, it's crazy. It's so good.
It is. And I think that's law of attraction too, guys. And you know, it's like, oh, I'm stuck at this job and I'm stuck here, and you know, I wouldn't be able to do anything else. Well, don't you know, every single day that I told myself I wouldn't be able to do that full time. I have to clock in, I have to clock out. Even the personal stuff of, but this is what makes my family proud, or this is, people would think, you know, I had this embarrassment of leaving this title and this place that I worked and stepping into what I wanted to do, because I thought people would be like, are you kidding me? That's silly. And as I started dipping my toes with my, like, you know, close girlfriends, and I was like, so I think I'm going to leave the hospital and I want to be like a life coach. And I'm waiting, right? I'm waiting for the backlash because I've already put it in my head. I've done that to myself, right? Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And every single girlfriend said, oh my gosh, you'd be so good at that. Like, you should totally do that. I was like, well, look at me all up in my own way again.
I know. It's because we get stuck. We were like, we went to school for this. We have a degree for this. This is what we spend all this money on. This is why we're in massive debt. And then to step away. And I remember you having that little hesitation back at that point. I remember you, like, specifically when you were talking about that. And it was like, yeah, but you're stepping out of this, you know, it's a profound job. It has meaning and it does matter because it is helping care for people, animals, you know, living things that need care. But there's a lot of people that are willing to do that work. There's a lot of people that are willing to go through school, get the degrees, go work the 9 to 5, go work in the hospitals, go be doctors, go be teachers. Thank goodness they are there because we need them. There's not enough people that are willing to step forward into the space that, you know, we're creating and just helping people like on a really soul, you know, turning level. So I'm so grateful that you stepped into that space because you're going to change so many lives.
And
it's going to be so good.
Sarah, that was such a powerful conversation that you and I had, because that was such an aha moment for me. It was such a light bulb moment for me, you know, because you just came out of a, you know, similar job working on the human side, and I was working in the veterinary side of things. And I said, how do you do it? How do you step away from this title? How do you step away from this hospital, which is, you know, the most prestigious hospital and the most prestigious title? And I loved that. I love that mind shift, that gift that you gave to me, that, you know what, thousands of people are going to get their degree and be able to step into this. And it takes someone special to do what you're doing, because not a lot of people are doing it. And that was such a shift for me. And I needed that. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So good.
Miguel, that Tamika saying, stepping into your own power. Yay, Heather.
Yeah. I know Tamika has been too. So hell yeah, girl, right back at you.
I can't wait to watch what Tamika does. Like, I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see what her next step is.
I feel like I'm like stalking her right now. I'm like stalking her page. I'm like,
what's Tamika up to?
Yes. We all stalk you, Tamika.
We all know that you were hanging out with Willie Nelson, and we were just watching you every day.
I was in the bathtub watching Willie alongside you. I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Concert and a tub.
Yep.
Susie says on here, I thought that using my degree was the only way I can contribute to the world. It's so much more fulfilling on this side. Scary, yes. Amazing, so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you think, Heather, about this? Like, fake it till you make it. You know, or when you're like, okay, I'm ready to align into this, I'm willing to just give myself this title today. Or, you know, how it, you know, you've kind of explained doing that, you know, telling your girlfriend, saying, I'm doing this, hell yeah. But do you use that too, like the fake it till you make it type scenario?
I do, and I think that, and I totally get the term fake it, right, till you make it,
Yeah.
but it's such an intention to say, you know, it's very much law of attraction. Again, going back to this is where I want to be, so this is what I'm going to focus on. So yeah, maybe right now I'm not on stage, or I'm not at that, you know, price point per month that I want to be at, but you be damn sure I'm going to act like it.
And you're showing up every day. Every day. I'm like, oh my God, she shows up every day with value and with things that people need to hear about. And it's growing. Everything is growing. Like, we can watch it every time you show up. You're growing and you are shifting somebody else's life, and it's just going to snowball. It's so good.
And honestly, that's what I love about it. I love, you know, yes, it's a fake it till you truly make it, whatever that make it is for you, and everyone should define that for themselves. But it's also setting the intention, right? And it's that law of attraction. It's that manifesting that I know where I want to be. I already have this part of it. I already have the personality part of it. I know what I want to teach. I know that aspect. All of the other stuff is just really the clockwork stuff of it, right? It's just the time that it takes to grow into that. But yeah, show up every day and just be blissful and step into your power, because if you can't do that in the really tough times, it's not going to come easy to you in the easy times. You got to do the groundwork now. You got to get solid in your foundation and know that you can really persevere through this moment right now, which is just empowering. It empowers you even more to know this is what I want, because I'm showing up every day doing it.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the women that you help too? Like, when it comes to a specific type of, like, where is she at on her journey? Maybe just give us a little scoop into how we can, all of us in this community, whether you might be this gal or we can align you with her. Who is it that you're currently working with? What's like your client?
You know, you see a plethora of different clients come in the door, but what I would say is that the common thread is that woman who has put everyone before herself. She has put herself on the back burner. She has now owned everyone's opinions of her, everyone's thought processes of her, and she's lost herself. She may have also lost herself through trauma, through a traumatic event, through a traumatic childhood. And really, a lot of it is where you show up and you go, there's more, but I don't know how to get there. Yeah. Or I know that I want to do, you know, X, Y, and Z, but I need to learn my alphabet. Like, I just need help. I need a friend. I need a mentor. I mean, gosh, right now, guys, aren't we the most connected, disconnected society?
Yes. That's such a great way to put it.
That's a great way to put it.
Right? We are the most connected, disconnected society. We have access to everyone, to plethora of information, and yet we feel the most isolated. We are the most drugged, right? Pharmaceutically and coping mechanism wise. Yep. And we've got to change that. We have so much access to everything, yet while our world and our technology and everything is opening up for us, we are doing a lot of this. And so that's what I'm finding right now is that when people don't use little sideness, right? Little tangent. But when people don't use social media and things like that effectively, you can create a deep, dark world for yourself. If when you log into your social media account as a woman and all you see is cattiness and girl fights and political stuff and derogatory statements and stress, that is exactly what you've put into your world. And by the simple shift of just changing your scenery, guys, hanging out with the more positive friend, I'm not saying unfriend, but maybe unfollow people who are just bringing those visual stresses into your life and change it. Follow some empowering women, follow some entrepreneur women, follow some motivational speakers, because there is no reason with the access that we have to information and the access that we have to each other right now that we should feel so isolated, so depressed, so stressed out, and, you know, be using pharmaceutical and other agents to close off. It's just not necessary. And that is my main focus right now, is to take people who don't see another way out or can't see the way out and just put some tools in their toolbox. I mean, we all have it within us. A lot of us are three-ish tools away from stepping into our power.
And I think now more than ever, I think like you're making these amazing points that now more than ever, because law of attraction, whatever we put out there, whatever we are talking about, thinking about, that's what we attract. But now that we have access, maybe, you know, 20 years ago, you were attracting like, you know, some not so awesome people, and you might run into a couple of like jackasses at the grocery store. Now, if you're putting that out there, you have to see it 50,000 times on social media, and it weighs you down. And that's why cyberbullying is worse for kids than at school bullying, because it comes in the masses. So like now, being a conscious creator and knowing what you're focusing on and what you're attracting is like so much more important than it was before all of this social media came into play.
It really is. I mean, it was per se a simpler life, right? When you tended to your home, you tended to your garden, you went into town and did your grocery and came home. I mean, you really only surrounded yourself with the people. But now we are just so, everything is so accessible. You can find anyone on the interwebs that will tell you anything bad about yourself. And you have to know, you have to just not take that personally. And it's just a reflection of other people. I got blocked, deleted, and sent a note the other day because this emotional post that I made about like my kiddo turning 18, and I was so excited about it.
Aww.
I was promoting teenage pregnancy. Guys, they will gripe about anything. Just change the scenery. Like,
oh my gosh.
But if you let those people, if you're constantly owning that shit for yourself, which funny enough, that whole post was on not owning other people's shit for yourself. So she didn't get
They're like, well, I'm going to give you some shit. You do it.
I was like, not owning you, girlfriend. But so often, because we're not solid in our own foundation and we're not solid in who we are, because people have stripped it away. Life has stripped it away. Who we think we should be stripped away. What our parents told us we should be stripped it away. Relationships stripped it away. Motherhood stripped it away. We're kind of like, oh my gosh, that person said I'm fat and ugly and I'll never amount to anything. And all of a sudden you're fat and ugly and you'll never amount to anything. Don't own that. Don't own that for yourself. Not worth it.
Amen.
Agreed.
So good. I keep saying amen like we're at church or something.
Amen.
So, Heather, we could like pick your brain all night long, but we want to let the tribe know where they can find you, where they can dig in deep with you, where they can chat one-on-one. So let everybody know where they can connect with you.
Yeah, you can always add me on my personal Facebook page, which is Heather Badin. It's my picture, so you should be able to find me quickly. And then we do have a great group called Blooming Evergreen.
Yeah.
And that is a great support system for women. It's just a high vibe, women only tribe where you can come in, share what you're doing, share inspo for the day, or really ask the group, hey guys, I'm struggling with this, and get only positive feedback and get some real, correction to, what this problem is, because there are so little safe spaces out there. I mean, this amazing, Rising She Tribe is one of them, and we're seeing them more and more. But if you put that out to the wrong person, gosh, you just get a negative answer. So yeah, it's just a very high vibe tribe of women, and that's where you'll see what I'm doing released. There's a lot of free content released, and there's a lot of fun stuff coming up. So I'm excited.
You're always live, giving so much wisdom. It's so good.
Yeah. It was such a scary thing at first too. I remember going live for the first time, and I was like, oh man, my words.
You talked about being nervous, but I'm sitting over here like, well, we can't tell. You look amazing. You got it. Like nobody knows.
I was faking it while I was making it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Heather, again for joining us. So be sure to tune in every week on Wednesday night for your weekly woo-woo wisdom. And yeah, we'll be back next week, you guys.
All right.
Say goodbye.
Thank you, Heather. You're amazing.
Oh, thank
Love you, girl.
Mhm.